I've never met that in real life, but she seems nuts.
Oh no, like, yeah, actually mental as well. If you want to be famous, you want to be a celebrity, go on Love Island.
If you want to go on The Apprentice, make sure that you are a yes man afterwards. You say yes, but to the right opportunities afterwards.
We're back, Series 2, thanks to our sponsor, Shafrazul, who's also fighting Contrepreneurs and fake gurus. Go check his channel on YouTube, link in the description. On this episode of the podcast, I've got two former stars of The Apprentice, Camilla and Lewis. Welcome. I've never done two people at the same time before. No, I've not.
Go on, Lewis.
Me neither.
Insert joke here.
So all I wanted to do really was chat to you about the pros and cons of going on The Apprentice, get to know how it's impacted you in real life and then also in your business life. So.
Have you watched the show? I want to flip it back to you.
What, your series?
Yeah.
Honestly, hand on heart?
Yes.
Nope.
Nope.
you not?
Don't know, don't care.
No.
Let's go.
No. The first,
can tell him
the
anything.
first I came across you was on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
really, and that was on a post about tattoos, and it was someone else that brought it up to me. Molly?
And what about me?
No.
Nope.
No. You're here because Cody wouldn't come because he saw his
I'm
ass.
a reserve, basically.
That's not true, actually.
I'm
as far
here
as
to make the taxis cheaper on the way to
That's
the
it.
studio, but I'll take it.
She only made it as far as she did because she had personality, I think. Her business wasn't very good, so that's why she got as far. But
Well, she made it further. You
I
so
know.
what are you?
Can we just go?
No, in my series, I was the star of the show, basically. I mean, I was supposed to win, but they said it wasn't fair if I was to win everything.
Hashtag humble.
No, are you the star of the show if you have to tell people you're the star of the show?
Exactly. And I'm sitting back, I'm letting you take
So
it.
you were finalists,
Yeah.
Series 13,
Yeah.
and you were
Fourth.
Series 15, Week 11.
No.
Did you say
I finished
fourth?
Yeah. So it's technically semi-final. I'm
So
gonna
she
take
is better
semi-final.
than you.
I am in more ways than one. And
To be fair, no, you deserve to get where you went to. I thought you might have won. Didn't quite get it, did you?
yeah.
Does
no,
that mean you're a better entrepreneur?
I would say I am a better entrepreneur more because I have more experience than you. But
That's fair.
I
Would
think
you
that's
say
a
it?
fair comment. If we were at the same stage, then I would be able to maybe weigh up a little bit more. But
So-
you're at conception. I've been running my business for 2 years. So
Yeah, that's it. I'd say I've got better banter and I've got a nicer smile. But apart from that, no,
Serious question, why do you think we were both picked? Because I always wondered, my thoughts on the show have always been that they look at your business plans first and then select 2 or 3 that they think potentially could win the process, and then they fill the rest with they're funny, they're a character,
Yeah.
they're controversial. So what do you think?
you've
do you know
got
what?
an
Recently, everyone who's applying this year now has been messaging us like we did with you last year, and they're like, "Oh, give us some advice and stuff." And I've been saying the same thing to everyone, and it's true actually. You got to remember it's business. You got to get across the fact that you know what you're talking about, or that you're passionate about it, or that you've done some research, or that you've got a track record in something. But it's entertainment. Put your personality across. I think you got to have both. You really got to be someone who's got a great personality. It might be entertaining, it might be fun to watch, but at the same time, you really got to be interested, have a real deep-rooted passion in business or startup or whatever the hell you're doing, or your career. And that's a really weird mix. You don't get that often. You don't really get fun people who are in business.
No.
Majority are like,
Yeah.
So was there
boring.
anyone in your series that you thought maybe shouldn't have been there based on their business experience?
I
or-
knew being in the auditions, like I had an idea who would get on and who wouldn't. There was a girl in my auditions, Tracy, I remember her well. E-Y, not even Tracy with a Y. So that's like alarm bells. And we went round and we'd done this task, building a desk. And we went round and it was like, who do you think the failure of the task is round to? So she went round the circle and she was like, I think the failure of the task was down to me. And I was like, Tracy, you don't say that. Like, even if it is, and it was her fault, but you don't say it was me. Like, the whole part of The Apprentice is
Rule number
like
one,
deflecting blame.
I definitely always me.
Yeah, like it's
I'm an idiot.
no, but you're like, no, it wasn't me, it was him. Like,
Yeah, you're
and
supposed to argue.
you gotta back yourself.
What is the
I know why I
process
got on.
like then to get on? Like,
Well, I know why I got on in terms of so you apply and you go to like this big long audition day and the first stage, and then there's another stage where you do group tasks. I know why I got through the group task round. It's because
You're a pest.
They put, I don't have to give away secrets, but they put you in a line, right? And they say, get in order of most attractive to least attractive. So obviously everyone wanted to run to the top. So I was modest and I went like down a bit.
Second.
And I look at the guy.
Yeah.
I look at the
I'm surprised.
I looked at the person next to me. I was like, really? Okay, but everyone had run to the wall, right? And they said, next time we do this, we're going to do another one, but don't all run to the wall. You need to get in a line because that's the idea. We want you in a line. And they went, now get yourselves in order of who's most successful to least successful.
Yeah.
So everyone ran to the wall. I just stood still in the middle of the room, and then they went, "Are you happy where you are?" And I said, "No." And they went, "Why not?" I went, "Because you just said get in a line. You said don't run to the wall. Every one of these idiots here just legged it to the wall." I was like, and I looked at everyone. I went, "If you're so successful, why are you here?"
Yeah.
And then they all just kind of looked at each other and looked at their feet. And I think because I made such a statement, and I just sort of threw the toys out the pram.
Lewis for president.
I was going to ask
I
that
feel
question.
Like that's what stood me out.
You've touched on it there. So, if it is for business people and they are so successful in business, why do you think people do apply to the show?
Yeah, I think it's people with an idea or a business that's like at the start of its journey and it's used for a platform. That's why I went on it. I've always been a super fan of the show, like watched it since the start of the show series. But for me, I had a what I thought was a good idea, milking nuts. So, and then I just needed the platform to be able to grow, and I needed investment. So it seemed like the next logical step. So I do think people genuinely do go on it to grow their businesses from my perspective.
Yeah.
But there's obviously the people that want the blue tick.
Yeah, I couldn't get on Love Island. I was too ugly for that. Yeah. So I figured I'd probably be good looking in The Apprentice because business people are ugly generally.
Best of a bad bunch.
I'm joking now. Do you know what? I think that's a fair point. The common misconception is that everyone that goes on there is already successful, but actually it's not the case. Yeah. You go on there if you've got dreams, if you've got passions, if you want to be somebody, you're striving, you'll take any opportunity. And that is just another one of those opportunities that you should always jump at, because I feel like that's what you're supposed to do, right? When you're starting out, you're supposed to just anything that comes along that could better you and put you in a better place, in a better position.
Like exposure, personal brand.
Yeah, just be a yes.
You might not get it, but it's another example of going, oh, here's an opportunity. I'm going to jump on it, and if it does start, like for me, I applied and didn't expect to hear anything back, and then it sort of opened out, and I just followed it because I knew that journey there was going to take me closer to my end goal. So I think that's it. We're not necessarily successful. There's people that want to get to their goal.
Is it a double-edged sword though? It could break some people, do you not think?
Absolutely. Like,
there's some people that are kind of like laughing stocks, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think you don't know when you go on it. You're kind of misled a little bit by production. You know, do this, just be yourself, and then you're a bit naive to the fact that it can be manipulated. But you've got to be really, really careful, because some people go on it and they're credible business people. But like Tom Meyer, he was already a successful business man. He was running, like, he had teams of 20 people, and his was tree surgery. And he literally, like, he lost 5 tasks as project manager, and obviously it's rigged.
You're fired
each time, so that was a storyline. But he's actually running a business when he gets out, and he's lost 5 tasks. He can't manage a team, so it comes back on you. Yeah, it does definitely.
Has that affected him since coming out?
I think so. Like he definitely has taken a step back from like socials and all of that. So he doesn't really open up about it, but I would imagine that's a label on you.
I crashed and burned a marketing task. I mean,
but your background was marketing, wasn't it?
It is marketing.
Yeah, so you're still doing that now?
Just got to apply for jobs and speak to people who haven't seen the show.
Yeah.
Like, and if they do mention it, I go, yeah, let's not talk about it.
And well, saying that then, so I've not seen the last few shows. I stopped watching it maybe like 3-4 years ago, but I used to love it. Yeah. But then it got to the point where I just started to think they're deliberately making people look stupid.
Yeah, at least you see that, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, and then also a negative thing online as well is, and it's interesting, I used to, when I did these podcast last series, used to ask people on LinkedIn for questions for the guests that were coming on. When I put that, I didn't even say who it was, I just said, I've got 2 people from the Apprentice coming on, is there anything you'd like to know about the show? I would say 90% of the questions were like critical or derogatory or negative.
They're the best.
Yeah, but it just made me think that, especially with what's going on, especially reality TV recently, and everyone, these are probably the same people that would say, you know, it's be kind online, think about what you're saying. It was like, do you have to be a wanker to apply? Do you have to do all these things? I just think you're just people that apply to it.
But they're the people that would never get on the show in the first place.
But they're the ones that'll never achieve anything in life as well, because they're so scared to put themselves out there and look a fool, and they're so critical of other people, and they're so worried about it. They never make moves, and they complain in 20 years' time when they're sat in the same role, bored or haven't got what they want to achieve. You've got to be willing to put yourself out on a limb. You've got to be willing to look a twat in life if you're ever going to achieve anything. And you know, I love those sort of people that are so critical, because I go, what have you done today?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, the answer is nothing. And I don't know, I appreciate it. It fuels me.
I don't enter into conversation with. I don't like reply anymore.
Do you get that on Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah,
Instagram for me is really bad. Like really, really bad. Every day I turn off my message replies. Like some of them, and some of them are so nice, but obviously human nature. You look at the bad ones, and I can laugh. I laughed about it for the first year with family. That's how I dealt with it. Bad English, and we'd read them out, and some of them are like hilarious. But for me, the things that affected me were the overly sexualized ones. I got that a lot, and it made me feel like disgusting. Like,
Or what blokes saying?
yeah,
weird
like
shit to you.
waking up at like 7:30 in the morning, you check your messages or whatever, because I have to post my content for Milk Plus, so just check my messages and there'd be someone like, I would lick dog piss off a stinging nettle just to drink your bathwater. That's a funny one.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I've
That's
apologised
funny.
so many times.
So many times, and then you sent
Unblock me
another
now.
few. Yeah, but that's a funny one, so I can laugh about that. But then there's other ones.
You're
that's
inviting
just-
it though with nut milk.
I
You
know.
promote yourself for that.
I know, but I feel like it's still, and I do play on it. I have fun with
It's
that.
definitely worse
but-
for girls. 1,000%
Yeah.
worse for them. I know that some of the guys from my year get constant, but really strange stuff. I get a lot. I don't really get that. Well, I do get bad
You
stuff.
get a lot of nudes
I get,
that you
I
haven't
get a
asked
lot
do
for,
you?
of,
which
I
is
get a
for
lot of people
you.
just messaging me saying daddy.
Yeah.
I'm 29 years old. That's already freaking me out because am I appearing like, yeah, the term, it's always guys as well.
Yeah.
Daddy. I'm like, one guy did it on Twitter. Daddy, I went, hello, son. And that was it. He was loving it. He just like, he went, go. He did like a meme. We're getting married. Told everyone to back off. Said I was his.
My
But at least
mum's
that's probably a good way of dealing with it. But that's
Yeah.
probably easy for you to take it because number one, it doesn't happen that often, and number two, you're a lad, aren't you?
But
So
there
it's
are
easy to take
there are
like
some
that.
really creepy ones. I'm really like, and there's a lot. There's a lot of nudes. So
And
a
what
lot of girls
about-
open a conversation with a nude.
great conversation starter though.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a thing. I knew penis pictures. It was dick pics. I said dick pics. I knew dick pics were. A
I
real
know
thing.
penis
I don't
pictures.
even know
That
how to say the
alliteration
word
gave me
dick.
goosebumps.
Am I
Ugh.
allowed to say dick?
I'm Lewis and I'm
Hello?
13 and a half.
Are you
Look
allowed
at
to
my
say
penis
dick?
pictures.
Look at the board, love.
You have to zoom in. But apart from that, no.
What about on Twitter then, where it's not in DMs, where it's more public? Because I'm surprised people say some of the stuff they do where other people can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
DMs is one thing, but
Yeah.
then also publicly.
Twitter-
They
It's a pain in
don't
the
care.
ass,
They tag you in the post. Everyone was saying it must have been, if Camilla's 22, like must have been a hard paper round and all this. And I was like, chill out, Sally. Like,
they got
calm
played.
it. But my mum's an absolute Twitter officer. If I get
I've seen
any
her.
shit, she replies and she's like, off you piss to your sad little life, bore off. And she's like,
I saw you shared it the other day.
she's
I
hilarious.
think it's a problem though for anyone that goes on any sort of
1,000%.
reality TV show,
1,000%.
Oh, yeah.
especially with like mental health and that.
And I don't think the shows actually give you a correct representative of how vast it is. Like, I went on it, I wasn't naive. I thought, oh, I am going to get comments on everything. But in the final, there's only 2 people you can comment on, and there's 8 million people watching it. And the amount of, like, you're trying to enjoy being in the final, but people are commenting on absolutely everything. And honestly, I found it really funny, laughed it off. But then now it's like nearly 2 years since for me, and the fact that people are still messaging me, still replying to every single thing that I do, I just think, like, I would quite like to be a little bit more irrelevant now, because I don't understand why people are still commenting on everything, still sending me like disgusting, dirty
Do they
poems.
give you support or give you any sort of training or?
I would
help
like
with
to say
it?
they try, but try is a stretch. I think that they offer it. It's one of those like
because they have to.
Tick the box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've done that now, and that's not how.
Because
it's
really, the way they edit it and make you look probably incites a lot of people to do this stuff sometimes. So it's like you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
almost
yeah.
like you're part of the problem as opposed to, oh, now you've got to tick a box to look
Yeah.
like you're part of the, like, trying to solve the problem.
A lot of reality shows, they don't really do what they do with us, which is they'll try and make out, like, if you do something small and minor that's a flaw, they'll try and make it a big deal.
I'm not scared. I'm going up.
You going?
Good luck, Lewis.
Oh, Lewis, good luck. Good
luck.
See you later,
Good
guys. Smell you later.
See you later. Did he just say smell you later?
Oh, I think so.
I think he's gone delirious.
He's in denial.
Yeah, he just said smell you later.
And because of
It's a
that, people jump
storyline.
the bandwagon. But that's where you were saying about Twitter. That's where you get those people who comment and the people that say stuff, but actually they've never been in a situation like that. They never would be in a situation like that. And they never will be, because they don't have that same level of drive. So I don't see it as they're trying to comment negatively on you. I see it as they're commenting negatively because it's a reflection of themselves.
Yeah.
They see their
that's
own
deep.
weakness in you. No, it's true though. They see it
yeah,
as
it's true.
They see it as a threat to their own sort of safety blanket. They go, oh, they're it's the mark of jealousy. Than anything.
But I'm trying to remember, like, strip it back. Like, have you ever watched a reality show and tweeted about someone else? Like, I genuinely don't think that I have yet, but
I did The Apprentice. I had to go out and delete
Yeah.
it for the show.
really?
Yeah, 'cause I was like,
See,
no way
I
the pig's gonna
never
hold this.
have. So that's why, as for me, I
I mean,
was.
I can't sit on here and say it. I was accused of calling your mate a gimp.
Oh, yeah.
on LinkedIn once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's not
I
you-
was saying people
yeah.
that did them types of posts were gimpy. Didn't necessarily say she was
You
gimpy.
can't, put her in the GIMP category, but you didn't
Yeah,
directly
exactly.
call her. You know,
No.
we can get into that.
I tweeted stuff like about the like, oh, that's well easy, as if he can't even do that. And then
That
I'm
will
like,
be my year.
And I was
won't
like,
it?
delete.
I never
Shit,
have.
I'm going on the show now. Go back in 3 years
Yeah.
worth of tweets abusing Apprentice.
Just delete
They
all
do
the
make you really clean up your socials
You've got to,
before
haven't
you
But
want
imagine
go
though,
on.
especially
My
like
God.
your age, you're living your life on social media, so you might have tweeted something or posted something like 4 or 5 years ago. You think something completely different now, and if
Yeah.
that's still out there, someone will find it because they want to.
I think what I was gonna say when we sat down with the guys, they bring you a like a hardback
Oh,
copy
yeah.
of all the things that are on your social media, and everyone else's was like this thin, mine was like this,
Yeah.
and it was page after page of me naked, me saying stupid stuff, me sharing like Tesco value porn Christmas cards, just anything stupid and
I'm
memeing
very
that I'd
surprised.
said.
And they
you've
told
got
you
on
to
it.
It's
get rid-
all that has to go like,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know where to start.
So do they do background checks on you before you go on then?
Yeah, they do.
But I think it's more to find out. I think, you might share something that was inappropriate or something that wasn't quite viewed the same. But I think that if you actually are a nasty person or you are a certain type of person and you've shared stuff in the past, then you can get a vibe of who someone is now as well. So I
Yeah.
feel like that guides their decision on
the
on the
funniest
show.
thing that's happened since the show. So James White, he
Which one's he? Is he the
the one that won. Haha.
is he the good looking one?
Yeah,
He's
a good
not.
looking one, isn't he?
Why is everyone going on about him being so good looking?
Are you saying he's not good looking?
I went to
I'm not
football-
saying he's not
I
good
went to
looking, but I'm not
football with
saying
him.
he's good looking. I'm saying he's like.
So he's average looking.
He's like a 7.6.
You're saying James is ugly?
I'm not saying. Do not say this. I'm saying he's a lovely boy. I'm not saying he's the best.
He's a lovely
looking person.
boy, average looking.
He's good crowd.
No, I
He's-
never
he's
said
good crowd.
those
He's a good
words.
lad.
So
Do
he's
you want
not
to hear
average
the
looking?
story or not, guys?
Yeah, go on then. Yeah.
So he had an office party and invited Gloria, who was a 40. Well, not, I don't even know if it's possible to be 40 stone, 20 stone. Stripper, and it all leaked out in the press, and obviously he's in partnership with Lord Sugar. It was in the Sun, the Mirror, and they'd put Lord Sugar's face on one of her boobs and James's face on the other boob, and this
nice.
was Gloria. She was like an African 20 stone stripper, and James was like, I wasn't there, but you can see there's videos, and he's there like, haha. He's like, Gloria, give us a dance, and he got absolutely roasted. You'll notice he's not been invited to any of the winners events recently.
Also been shocked because of that.
It's worth mentioning though there that you said the papers incite a lot of it.
Yeah.
They really, really do. Like a lot of the stuff, they ring you up and they'll go, "We've got this story on you. Would you like to comment?" You're like, "What's the story?" And they'll tell you, and you're like, "It's not even a story." It puts a fear of dread in you when you get a phone call from a journalist going, "I've got a story on you." And like I've had so many stupid ones about me, like they're ridiculous. I laugh them off, but actually, now they've like ruined relationships. They've caused issues for me. I had to laugh it off because it's just part and parcel. But actually, a lot of people don't understand that side of it.
Yeah.
But like that,
but these are
although
the
it's
same
funny-
papers that will then say we need to be nicer to each other. and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's a funny story to do. But actually, that could have ruined his reputation. He could have lost business partners. He could have lost
Yeah.
business. He might have lost. A relationship with
Luckily, he
Lord Sugar.
found it funny, but yeah,
irony
it could
being
have
though,
been.
Let's
that
laugh it off
You're
because-
saying the show's asking you to go through social media and like delete any tweets and stuff, but I would say I can't call him Lord Sugar. I find it cringy. as
Call him
fuck.
Alan if you want.
Weird.
Al, Big Al.
Yeah, like Alan Sugar's probably one of the worst for putting out shit tweets and slightly controversial. He's like a slightly racist, homophobic granddad has got your phone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He's cringeworthy sometimes. Like obviously, I took the brunt.
He shouldn't be on Twitter really.
He should have
Like, with some of the stuff that he
manage it.
says.
He should have someone manage it for him, or at least
A
advising him.
grandchild, perhaps. Like, that's a bit more on the ball.
Just
with-
advising him what he's putting out, like because like he did that with me in the Titles, and obviously you spoke about it. And he did it. He did a joke about me not being able to get it up in bed.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this guy.
That joke
Inside
again.
knowledge.
That
Yeah.
joke again.
There's a theme.
No, but the funny thing about it is like I used to read your
Can you?
autobiography.
You're not laughing.
No, I've just got a little penis. No. I read his autobiography and I looked up to him for years, watched his documentaries, and then he's on Twitter saying Lewis has got a little willy. It's just like what is going on with the world?
So do you actually hear from him
Did it
at all?
twice.
Well, yeah. I've heard it from a few other people as well.
No,
to be
not
honest.
not that I've got a
Willie.
little
I'm about
Willie.
from
Right.
from
Well,
the
I've
Lord.
heard
Does the
that.
Lord keep in touch with you afterwards? Because say like you've not won the series, but your business is worth investing in. Would he offer to invest in your business anyway?
He's emailed me a few times recently. So we've been in touch quite a lot, but for me, when I was in the show, when you're in the thick of it, your competitive streak comes out and you think, I want this so bad, and you're batting it out in the final, and then you have 3 months, and in that 3 months I spent all of my own savings. So I spent all my money from when I was traveling I'm working on a cow farm in Australia, different chapter. So I spent all that to make my product retail ready. So I'd done all the work. I'd got a deal with Holland and Barrett. So I didn't actually want his investment at that stage.
Yeah, you don't need it at that point.
I didn't need it. And he didn't really get the brand. Like when you're having to explain what SaaS is to a 73-year-old, it's a little bit like, I'm not sure this is going to work. But ultimate respect for him. And I even said that to him. I said, look, like this is what I've done. I understand I don't really need, and he was like, well, you do need my help. And I was like, yeah, you know, obviously you backing and advice would be really good. So then when I didn't win, I was actually quite happy about it because you get full control. With my business, you have to be so reactive and make really quick decisions. Whereas when you partnered with him, you have to okay all the decisions with his team. So it's just a really long process. But he has messaged me a few times just saying like, can you send me like your figures? How's it going? What's the new flavour? I sent him the new flavour recently. So I'm still in touch, and I've read his books as well, and I am a massive Lord Sugar cheerleader. I'm a bit of a fangirl, but
I think it's interesting that you've used the platform to actually really push your own business. And so you say you didn't know you were going to win for 3 months, so I take it they film.
Yeah, 2 endings.
So you have to...
You wouldn't know.
No, I know this.
I know.
Didn't quite get there, love. I'm only joking.
No, but it's like,
1-0.
so you've actually like smiled, made up, yes, thanks for the offer, and then you've also got to then put on a cry.
Oh my
What's
gosh,
your
I'm
acting
the
skills
worst
like?
actress ever. I was literally like, when he said, because he came to me first and he said, you've won, and I was like, yippee, and he was like, we're gonna have to do that again, that looked ridiculous, and I was like, yay, and I was like, thank you so much, and I was like, I'm doing a nasal thanks, I have to do it again. I did it like 3 times, and then obviously you've just won, and then he goes round and, Sean, you're going to be my business partner. So I kind of was just like and then I like tapped her on the arm. I was like, well done, Sean. And that's the one that was used in the end.
Mine is something that no one's doing at the minute. It's something new, it's something really lucrative, and Sean is saying that she's selling herself as a brand, but she's not on anyone's radar.
But I've increased my profits by 1,000%.
So have I, in 3 months. There's a massive potential in my product, and I'm willing to work with you, Lord Sugar, to make this a success and really crack this market.
It's very tough for me to make a decision. But on reflection, Sean, you have a great aptitude and a talent for design. You're going to be my business partner.
Well done, Sean.
And the Oscar goes to
Camilla Ainsworth.
But
So were you sat at home then, like popcorn, not sure, champagne ready to go in case you did win?
so I found out on the You're Hired show, Rod Gilbert gets filmed on the Wednesday, and it went out on the Sunday, I think. So I found out a few days before, and he just calls you and he says, you know, Camilla, it was an excellent business proposition. Doesn't mean that it's not a good business, but I feel like I can help Sean more because he's got properties and he's kind of got communications with manufacturers and things like that. So he said, I'm going to go with Sean, but please keep in touch. And that was, and I was literally, but all the producers are in the room and they're like, oh, you poor thing. And I was like, obviously like, and then I called my dad, and I was still in the room with the producers, and we'd obviously discussed it, and I was like, the best thing for me would be not winning. But when I called him, the producers were there, so I was like, yeah, I didn't win. And he was like, I was genuinely worried because you sounded sad, and we discussed. And I was like, yeah, they were all there. I got out and I saw him and I was like, yes, like buzzing, you know, because I got the platform, kept 100% of my business.
Yeah, that's always been one of my questions. Like, if you're so confident about your business idea and that, why would you want to split? So
and
what does he take for 250 grand?
50%.
So he's taking 50 grand, 50% for 250 grand.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, of course it is.
Do you know what's interesting that this year? So you said about Lord Sugar staying in touch. He actually doesn't stay in touch with me. I think he just hates me now. But it's really strange for me because it got me quite down because I've looked up to him for so long, and then he was looking at me as, he just judged me immediately as a guy who's got tattoos, is tall, jokes around and stuff. Immediately, I don't like him. And I never thought I'd get judged by him and that way. Yeah. So I feel like, although I was going through all these hoops and stuff, I could get that vibe going through the show that actually he doesn't like me and he's not.
So he wasn't going to pick you regardless of
but
how good a
do you know what's
candidate you
really obviously my business was a startup. I didn't expect that to win. I actually only went on there trying to get the exposure. I wanted to get to final 5. I thought maybe there's a chance, but I didn't actually expect it. I thought Scarlett and Karina would be in the final, and I was right. I even said it in the show actually. I said these girls are doing it for the kids, their family. These guys really deserve it. And he goes, "Why are you still here?" Then I was like, "I thought I'd hang around." but that really gets me down in a way, because if you've looked up for someone for so long. Like, I grew up as a kid reading his books. In fact, that was one of the reasons why I decided to try and start my own business, was because I read his autobiography in a ski resort, and I thought, I'm going to go for this. I never actually thought I'd end up in the Apprentice meeting him. But it's really sad that he just judged me like any other guy in a bar would. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, like, it's a common thing.
Like, really, you're a man of the world, successful in business. You should be more sort of open to different people, especially younger people coming through, new ideas and stuff.
Yeah, but equally, like, you felt like that, and I kind of felt like that a little bit with the people around me in my year, and him a little bit. The thing that he kept chucking at me was I was 22 at the time, so obviously very young. And the rest of the candidates, they wouldn't even ask like what my business was about. They'd be like, "How old are you?" And I'd be like, 22. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, like next person." And he was the same. Like, I wasn't sure whether I was going to make the final, because he was literally like, you might be too young, what do you know about business? And I was like, that's true. But I think in business, like, a bit of naivety can be a secret weapon.
Honestly, does anyone know what they're fucking doing?
Exactly.
No matter what age you are.
And it gives you a fresh outlook on things. You're not being calculated, you're being genuine. So that's what I argued.
I said the other day, so I was talking to someone in a business meeting. Some guy who's got quite a lot of successful travel companies, and we were sat there, me and Luke were talking to him, and I said, you know what, naivety is our strongest asset and our biggest weakness. And we got to balance that. We got to, like, if we knew what we're getting into, there's probably no reason we would have ever started, but we started the ball rolling. Actually, something amazing is happening. We don't know what it is yet. We don't know what it's going to be. But at the same time, it's our biggest weakness, because, we could make a mistake that's fatal. So we need to make sure we're very careful to get the right advice. So you're right, naivety is a strong.
I said the same with our old business that we had. It literally, because we didn't have a clue what we were doing, we didn't quite realise, like, you actually think you can be stupidly successful in a weird way. It's like, well, I can do that. Actually, I didn't realise it'd be so much hard work to do that. But what was the hardest part of the process then? So obviously, you got through to finals. You went through the whole process.
Yeah.
You were at the semi-final. So did you have to present your business plans as well? Was that because that always looks the toughest, direct questions?
Yeah, that was quite tough. Ready. But I went into an interview, and I'm not that corporate, but I went in and I went, yoo-hoo.
You.
You who?
Sorry.
To Claude Littner, but I felt
that's because you're 22.
But I felt like I knew him, because obviously we'd gone through the process, and I just think these days, personality. Who goes into a business like interview and is like, "Hello, the name is," I just wanted to add a bit of personality, and he did smile on the bit that they showed. He was like. But in real life,
they've cut another bit in for that response.
And he was like, and even he says on Twitter, Camilla's just like a friendly person. That's how she deals with it. But that is something, that clip gets shared all the time. And that's all, I get accosted by people when at the start, they were like, "You." But that was tough. But I think the hardest bit is, so you don't have a phone, you don't know like where you are. We're from the north, you're in London. I didn't have a clue where I was all the time.
They're all cunts down there, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a north-south divide.
Why do I agree with that?
Yeah,
you guys are in trouble now. No, they're not. They're lovely.
Better up north, aren't we?
Absolutely. The banter is just next level up north, and it's all just a bit vanilla down south. So you don't speak to your family 8 weeks. Well, you have like a 5-minute phone call that's timed, and you can't speak about anything in the process. That's really tough. And then the fact that you can't ever actually show weakness. Like, for 8 weeks, you have to fully just almost like fake it till you make it, because if you show weakness to people that the house team, who are basically planted there to pick up on, be spies of how you're feeling, and if you show weakness, or you say, "I'm nervous," for the final pitch, I had to pitch in front of 450 people, industry experts. There was like Ocado, Tesco on the panel. And I hadn't done speaking since the carol service at school. And I didn't get asked to do the carol service reading the second year in a row. So clearly, but if I'd have been like, "Oh, I'm really nervous," they would have made that into a storyline. So I was like, I'm fine. But I was a 22-year-old girl who was absolutely shitting myself.
Yeah.
And about to do a pitch that was being recorded for 8 million people. So it was like pressure. But I thrive off pressure, so it was good.
So what is it like in the house?
I was going to say the hardest thing for me in the house was being in the house. So obviously you get the phone taken off you, and you get all your wallet, your key. You're not allowed your phone or anything. You're not allowed out of the house without a minder. You're not allowed to go in rooms on your own. I find it very, very hard to follow rules. I've always been a very much of a you sort of person. So to have people tell me what to do every single day, like that was the hardest. I used to just play up. I sort of reverted to a child. Like, I was in the airport and they went like, Lewis, don't go through check-in. And I just shot off just because I could.
You'd
just to
be
see
a
what
nightmare.
happened.
I
Just to
was
see
so
what
well
happened. And I had
behaved.
all production staff chasing me through the airport, and I stopped and I was like, sorry. I don't know why I did
They
it.
will have reported that information though back to Claude, Karen, Lord Sugar.
So does that stuff really actually impact on their decision?
Absolutely.
Claude told me off camera because he'd seen me on the train. I'd spotted it. I was getting very paranoid because I could see him setting up the storyline. I could see what they were doing. But we had both teams on the same train. So actually, in this situation where you would usually ring the team and they say you can't ring them, I knew they were just down the carriage, so I just walked down the carriage and they said you can't come through and talk to them. But they knew if we spoke to them, we'd fix whatever issue we were having. So they wanted that issue to happen. So I ended up kicking off with production and saying, like, this is ridiculous. I was like, you don't need to stage it like this. We can still have a fun show. It can still be ridiculous. Let us do the job properly. Yeah. And because I made such a scene, Claude put me to the side and said, you know what, Lewis, if he goes,
you just got to. I just went with it. I knew what was happening, but you just got to.
You give up after a while.
You got to. But if you're silent and you know what's happening, then you can almost guess the next move and almost get to it sooner.
But that must be tiring though, just having to think like that, because you're trying to win a fucking like a show. You've got a real business. Well, most people have got a real business plan that they're trying to get investment for. So having to second guess some production team and like that are deliberately leaving things to fester.
Didn't you guys leave a product in the
that was funny. So there was a spin scrubber that we were doing an advert for, and we put the spin scrubber in the car, and then we get to the location. Where's the spin scrubber? It's not there. So we had to do an advert with no product. We were like, and this imaginary spin scrubber, you can't see it, it's that small. Like, honestly, it was horrific. And we had to do it in a car park in 30 seconds, and we had no spin scrubber.
It is laughable.
That word's a swear word to me now, the spin scrubber.
So do they do things deliberately? So if, say, the production team knew that was in the car, they just let that go. So do they do things deliberately to make you look silly or incompetent or stupid?
I think some
Get
things
out the car,
I think some things are sort of set up because they've got a storyline they're trying to make, but some things you literally just do it because you're an idiot. Like in that situation, that you don't think, like you get so granular in detail, you don't see the bigger picture, and then when you step back, you go, what have I done?
Yeah, I suppose as well. I imagine being in the house, you're all part of a team because you're going through a shared experience, but equally you're in competition, so it must be hard sometimes to
you can't talk in the
people
house.
or
You can't talk in the house anyway about tasks.
Yeah, task talk. That was hard for me.
Task talking is a term that they use where you cannot. If they hear you
trying to talk in code,
if you're having a private conversation, we started tapping our mics when we spoke, so because they would listen to the mics, so we'd start tapping them. So basically, a member of production staff would always have a microphone in there, an earpiece, and listening to everyone's mics in case you started talking about the task and sharing. So like we'd pass notes to each other and say like, tomorrow this is what the other team have made. Like,
you get a penalty for that.
Or you tap your mic and go, right, quick guys, before everyone goes, we need to quickly make a game plan.
I only learned they had microphones because I was saying how fit one of the cameramen was, and then he was the one on the mic. Of
course you were.
And well, no. And he was like, I heard what you were saying about me. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, so we used to tap our mics, so we talk in code, or before bed, we'd like get ready for bed, and everyone we'd like go, blah, 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 get everything out, and then the production's crew would come and knock on your door and be like, I can hear you talking in here, what's going on? And you just like, nothing. Yeah. So, I mean, one night, I remember I said it to the papers, they slept outside my door. And it was just me in the house. Yeah. I was like, who the hell am I going to talk to? But they didn't trust me not to go and speak to the rest of the team downstairs.
I wouldn't trust you either.
No. So I get it.
Going through what you've gone through and know what you know and the experience you've had since, would you do it all again, given the opportunity? Yeah?
Defo.
It's one of those ones where, like, it's... Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff that happens, a lot of stupid stuff that happens, and you get tired and it takes out of you. And it does take a year of your life and all sort of stuff. But at the same time, that grueling bit there, if you compare it to all the opportunities and the doors that open, and you might get idiots and stuff, people DMing you penis pictures or whatever, but the opportunity that open, the doors that are open, the platform, the engagement, and the perception of who you are as a person because you've gone through that. And I think it's actually deserved as well, because it really is probably one of the hardest processes you'll ever go through. It's not just an interview, it's not just a job application. Yeah. And there's nothing that compares to that. I think it's worth it 1,000%.
And for building you as a person, it sounds cheesy, but I'm a different person than before I went in there. My resilience is through the roof. Like, if I can go through that, I genuinely think I can go through anything. And it's stood me in good stead for the year of business that I had last year, obviously the first year was really, really good, but there was some huge challenges. Like I had 33,000 units where the barcode was only half printed, which wasn't obviously my fault. It was my manufacturer's problem, but you have to suck it up as a business owner, and that's obviously a big deal because I was selling to retail and it wasn't scanning, and they were kicking off. But because I'd gone through that, I was kind of like, right, okay, be annoyed for 2 minutes and then just crack on solution, which is what you had to do.
And you don't think you'd have coped the same way if you hadn't been through that process?
I think I would have stressed out a lot more, whereas I kind of just took it on the chin. Same with anything that happens now. I'm like, oh, okay, because they've done things and manipulated things, situations that put you in those high stress scenarios, so that I do think it's transferable. For me, definitely in business, I've learned a lot from the process.
That situation there, I think one of the strongest bits of that, the learning curve in there, is when you are going to go and pitch something you have no idea about. You don't get any time to prepare. You walk out in front of industry experts and you've just got to go with it and sink or swim. And I think someone wrote on Twitter yesterday, they said, I had to do a pitch in my job interview. And he goes, I've never actually appreciated how difficult it is what you guys do until that. And I didn't get the job. And I felt like saying to him, it's like, and imagine if you got in there with no idea what you're selling, no idea what you're saying, you get put straight in front of a camera in a room full of people. But actually, those situations build you. You sort of learn to just go with it and roll with it.
Interesting on that, I'll be honest, on our first pitch, I messed our pitch up and that didn't get shown. And I was really surprised because I messed it up like royally. I was like, couldn't get my words out. I was like, I honestly couldn't speak, and I was like, oh my god. So I was just like, and now on to like Jasmine, who will talk to you about. And I was literally like, and I came out and I was like, oh my gosh. But that didn't get shown, and I was very surprised, and I was warning everyone. I was like, I'm gonna look like a mug, and it didn't get shown.
Do you know what? On the flip side of that, there's some pitches where I'd saved the pitch. Like, so the team was struggling and they were getting asked questions, and I was just winging it, but I was doing it really well and selling it back to them. And I said the same thing to my friends, like, I'm going to look really good in this episode.
Yeah, it didn't get shown.
And I was like, come on.
Yeah, I've had the same.
Something where I absolutely nailed it and I saved everything.
They do that with these podcasts. They cut out all the bits where I nail it and make me look like a right twat. Anyway, so really, I was going to ask you then, so what has happened with your businesses since? So what are you doing now? We don't normally let people plug, but...
I know,
No,
go on.
God, how long have you got? Can I have a nap?
Just explain your business plan to me.
I'm looking to take people between the age of 21 and 35 years old away for a week each summer to kind of revitalize the youth tour operator.
So, what experience have you had as a tour operator?
None. I've never been a tour operator in my life.
So, we're starting a business, we're asking Lord Sugar for 250,000, but you have no experience whatsoever. Am I clear?
That's not what I said. So I've never been a
I
tour
said,
operator.
what experience have you been as a tour operator? And you said none. That's fine, I don't need any
I've
more.
worked in travel for many seasons.
Yeah,
I've done
doing
11
what?
seasons in total. I've worked for different tour operators, so generally overseas as a rep, looking after people.
Well, okay, so being a rep and being a tour operator are two completely different things.
That's true, but I'm working within a tour operator.
I could be a film critique. It doesn't make me an actress, does it?
I've run resorts for travel companies. I've gone there, I've met suppliers,
yeah,
and
but
I've made
this is
these
an
deals.
entirely different process.
it's not really.
You don't need to say any more, Lewis, because my perception is what I have to relay to Lord Sugar. Is his investment safe, secure?
I don't think it's a safe investment. I don't think that's
Thank
what
you,
I'm trying
Lewis.
to do.
I agree, it's not a safe investment. Thank you very much for the interview.
Hidden travel.
Well, you know where
without
Croatia
the-
is now, don't you?
No, do you know what?
Croatia hidden.
So
That's actually, like, you weren't that far. It was like that.
It was that. Come on.
Yeah, but on a globe, that's about
Yeah,
like...
that's
Don't-
like
it's like a
thousands
different
of
continent.
miles.
The thing is,
yeah.
because I lost my words. I said something like, I was like, I don't know. I've never even seen a globe before. And then everyone was like, how's he never seen a globe before? I was like, no, I just got flustered. And
Yeah.
then everyone's
In the
like,
moment.
everyone,
words.
someone sent me a globe for Christmas. Just anonymous post. Globe came through the post.
That's hilarious.
It was a cheap one as well. I was well annoyed. It's like not even like usable. Anyway, so yeah, hidden travel, hidden without the E.
Why do people do... Is that such a
Hidden without
Gen
the
Z thing?
HIDDN.
Yeah.
It's
They're
because
all doing it,
I couldn't get hidden travel the domain, so I had to take the E out.
You know what that is? Because some pricks fucking registered it like 5
it's-
years ago, waiting to drop on. You know,
yeah.
But you know what? I quite like it. It makes it different. So the idea behind it was when I went on the show, we were going to do groups, taking them to certain locations, and essentially, I'd sort of modelled it around 1830 that I used to work for before. when I've actually gone past that show, made it a reality, incorporated the business, found a business partner, sat and hammered it out, met loads of industry experts and people who have got successful travel companies, I've created a product that's really different now. It's so different from the original plan that I have to write a new business plan. I think that's quite normal in any business.
Yeah. You never end up with what you originally started out with.
But I'm so excited because now I've tested this format and like small groups and really stylish escapes and really amazing destinations and really innovative experiences. And I know that every travel company says that, but we're literally going through Instagram, trolling through to find the most amazing things that we've seen on there, collating them, and we're going to take people there. Yeah. We're going to make it part of a tour. So it's unbelievable. And there's nothing that exists like it. We've got like maybe one competitor that's targeting our demographic, and it's going to be young people, and it's not going to be cheap because who the hell dreams of going on a really cheap holiday? You dream of going on an amazing holiday, and you know what? We want to build value. We're not going to be expensive for the sake of it. It costs that. That's what we charge.
Well, I'll say, like, if you get a cheap holiday and it's shit, it's still a shit holiday. If you pay a lot of money and it's like a good, you enjoy it.
Absolutely.
I only feel ripped off if I don't think the experience is worth it. It won't matter what the price is, personally.
What is it? Under promise and over
Don't do
deliver.
that.
Don't do that.
Nut milk.
Yeah.
You're there with half a barcode.
It's cabbage milk.
I expected a full barcode.
I know.
I've got half of one.
Oh God,
no,
don't.
do you know what? I get people want to go on cheap holidays, and that's fine. You can do, but we're not targeting those people that want cheap holidays. We're targeting people that want to see something amazing and do something amazing and actually have a holiday to aspire to, and go back to their friends and say, "See, this holiday is amazing. You can never book it because it doesn't exist anymore. They're doing something else now."
Yeah.
And there's something really, really amazing about it. There's something really there, and I'm basically building myself something that I want to go on because it doesn't exist.
The coronavirus, though, is that make or break for your businesses?
Well,
travel sector.
apparently coronavirus is best served with Lyme disease.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
But
we are definitely adding these laughs, aren't we? Promise me that.
Oh my God. I didn't pre-rehearse that because I haven't got any jokes that I've pre-recorded.
I'm not laughing at people dying, by the way. It's not. So for me, the good thing about coronavirus is, and the good thing about it is that it's causing havoc in the travel industry. It's killing off companies, which is good for me because I'm going to start entering the market soon. But also, we need to delay our start because we're trying to get all the licenses together, and etc. So I think people understand that if they were ready to book now and they were spending money, then they'd be like, "Where's your package? Where's your tour?"
Yeah.
But actually, it's playing into our favor a little bit, and it is causing hell. Flybe went bust last night.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, literally. Well, they were on the verge anyway because they were trying to borrow from the government. You know,
they were shit airline anyway, weren't they? No, it's a bad thing to say.
I like
they
the
were
plane
dodgy.
food,
They were
though.
so shit.
I'm a weirdo. I like plain food.
On the Flybe, it's internal flights.
I don't like planes. We can actually see
they
through
have,
the bottom of the
bread
plane.
rolls and like soup sometimes, don't they? I don't know if I've ever. Oh, don't say that.
And
word to
Milk
me.
Plus.
Milk Plus. So since the show,
You've not even brought any product on to
I
promote
know.
it. It's
Product
another one of them
plug-in. I
pictures.
did
She
think-
has it on her all the time.
Invisible
I do have it
products.
on me.
I've
Yeah, I
never seen you
do.
without a bottle of milk.
I know,
In fact, she
I
gave
am.
me one to go home with last time.
I did, and I am a walking, talking nut pun most of the time.
You're doing well, aren't you?
Yeah, it's going good. It's obviously not without its struggles, but I definitely utilised the platform. And what happened after The Apprentice was a lot of my cast sounds like we were on like Friends or something, went on holiday and they had a chill because it was an intensive process, and obviously being on TV and things. But what I did was over Christmas just slogged it out and was knocking on as many like retailers' doors. So Holland & Barrett, I was literally a pest. I was like stood outside their Nuneaton head office like, "Hello, please can you stock my product? Like we need to move this forward. There's a great opportunity." So we launched into Holland & Barrett probably 5 days after the Apprentice final, which was absolutely perfect timing. I was able to drive footfall into Holland & Barrett, and had to get an emergency rerun of product because we sold out our first product in like 5 days. So I ordered more. These ones had barcodes. Disclaimer. So it was absolutely crazy. Just couldn't meet the demand. We had online websites, and when I sold it online, obviously I was selling them in boxes of 4, and I wasn't really geared up and able to fulfill the amount of online orders that we had.
Yeah.
So I had like 4,500 orders of 4, and there was me, and I was like, "Guys, family members, I need you to help me box up some nut milk," because obviously I didn't know how to really measure the demand. No one had been kind of in a product business the same as me for a while. So that was mental. And then it was kind of for me, I never wanted to drop the ball, like, because you don't want to get complacent and just think, oh, you know, it's going to maintain, because it doesn't. You have to fuel it. So I brought out a new flavour. So I brought out the first one in January. That was salted honeycomb hazelnut. Tongue teaser after a few drinks. And then the second one I brought out in April. So I think you always need to be bringing out innovative new products, staying ahead of the curve. So brought that one out. And then my third one's been an absolute ball ache, I'm not going to lie. Like, honestly. But that one's due to launch. And this guy...
What flavour?
I can't tell you, Mike.
This is why I can't share the
If
pictures.
I told you, I'd have to kill you. I've kept it so secret. You've got the biggest mouth ever, so I need to know who you've told. But he is the model, so we've got a token boy in the new one. But it's a lot different in that it's not a nut base. This one, I will tell you that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
World exclusive.
That
Whatever
nugget.
it is, when I was doing the shoot, trashed my t-shirt that I really liked.
Okay, that's enough now.
Oh, have you not got a boohoo? You've not got a boohoo partnership or anything? I thought you
I
were
know.
them, don't you? Discount code.
Hashtag spawn.
Yeah, but
No,
I
you
put
haven't.
this like cheap t-shirt on, and she basically ruined it and my jeans and nearly
It was
got the
fun
Fuchsias.
though. It was very fun. So yeah, it's going really well. But I'm trying to shift the business model at the minute because retailers can be really hard to work with.
How did you get into Holland & Barrett? Say there's someone out there now who's got a product that they'd like to get into a retailer like that. What was the actual process? How did you approach them initially?
So the managing director, so the big dog of Holland & Barrett, was actually on my panel of The Apprentice. So he watched it. And then afterwards, I asked for his details and hounded him. And he has nothing to do with listings, though.
Yeah.
But he said to me, he was like, you were the right person with the right product that we needed. But I've since gone through the retailer process, and even with Holland & Barrett, it was so hard because you're not their number one priority. They've got a million other brands that want that shelf space, and they didn't care that I was on TV. They knew that would give me, they'd get footfall and good PR, but it didn't really make the process any easier.
So it gets your foot in the door, but it doesn't
gets your foot in the
make it
door, but
easy.
you have to actually bash the door down even more. And with other retailers afterwards, it's been really, really tough. But I would advise, if you've got a product, if you can, you want to always start by being able to sell it online because you direct to your consumer. You know all about your customer. There's Amazon these days that, you can bridge the gap. And retailers, they want to take, 40, 50% margin. And it's a lot of work. Obviously, you've got the volumes.
Yeah.
But I just like to be transparent and say, make sure that you've got a very solid e-commerce website. So I've redone my website ready for the third product launch. And I was kind of hesitant to launch it with any retailers really, because I thought I want to do a pre-order online. I've got an Amazon partner now, which hopefully that's going to go well.
Yeah.
But I am taking a risk with the third product. The minimum order quantities are vast because it's a different product. How it's packaged basically is more environmentally friendly. So please buy some.
Yeah.
More than one.
Right, my last thing then. So, what is your top tip for anybody that wants to get on The Apprentice? Just one tip.
Can you do one?
Make it snappy because we'll break this out as a piece.
I was going to say
itself.
what she just said there. You mentioned it as well. Like, get your foot in the door and you got to do the hard work. If you're going to go on the show, be prepared for all the stuff we just spoke about to happen. But it is literally just going to get your foot in the door, and then it's past that show. What you do with it and that exposure, and what you do with that, those connections and those leads, is going to make or break you.
Yeah.
And go in there with that mindset, with how I'm going to use this as a tool in my arsenal to better my life and get to my goals. I think that's the one tip I would say. If you want to be famous, you want to be a celebrity, go on Love Island, go on dinner dates, go on anything but The Apprentice, because you're taking the opportunity away from someone who really could use it to their advantage, regardless of whether they win.
Did you miss the short and snappy part?
No.
Yeah. That was short and snappy than I thought.
You can cut it down.
That was good.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
All right,
really
smart.
short
Go on,
and
you go do
snappy.
it. Go on,
Sorry,
what's
I
your
know.
top tip?
Right, I'm going to say, if you want to go on The Apprentice, make sure that you that you are a yes man afterwards. You say yes, but to the right opportunities afterwards. Don't be a busy fool. Streamline your processes afterwards, and try not to get distracted by the noise of the show afterwards.
That was just mine, but worded
No,
differently.
it wasn't. It was worded a lot better.
I can see why she got to the final.
She literally took my
Eloquence
idea.
is key, darling.
Right, and the last thing is we have Jack, who is a LinkedIn banner boy. He gets one question only. Is that all right?
Yeah.
It is now time for a question from Jack. That's me. Nice to meet you both. I am Lord Bannerboy. If you were in Lord Sugar's position, would you partner up with me? Either of you.
You're going to pitch it? Pitch it.
I'll make banners on LinkedIn. Have you got LinkedIn? Make you a banner.
Make me a
What's
banner.
the benefit?
What is a banner? The top bit.
Give us more.
Yeah.
Give us 6-second pitch. Go on. If you were an actual client.
6 seconds.
60,
Only you
60.
could. Oh, I was going to say.
6 seconds.
It's a bit much for me that I'm just a graphic designer.
Okay.
I just make banners.
So you're asking me now for
Yeah.
£100,000, or you're asking Lord Sugar? Ask us if you want.
Yeah, I'll ask you, but
Yeah.
What's the
just
benefits?
pretend you're in Lord Sugar's position.
Okay.
What's the? Give me some benefits. Why would I want one?
More engagement. They look nice.
I actually do want a banner, by the way. I just changed mine the other day. Oh,
Not for 100,000
No,
though.
I changed mine the other day on everything apart from LinkedIn because I couldn't put hidden travel on LinkedIn.
This
because
isn't
I
about
struggled
you. This is about
No,
Jack.
but I'm thinking I could maybe use if
Lord
I
Banner.
invest in this business.
Sorry. My bad.
Lord Banner Boy.
Lord Banner Boy. I apologise. That's actually pretty impressive.
What are you going to do with 100 grand?
I actually don't know.
Then no, I wouldn't invest.
So do you want me to do your banner?
I actually want a banner. No, I'm not just
I'll
saying
have a
that.
banner.
No, I'm not just saying that. I changed everything but LinkedIn recently. I need one for LinkedIn. It's just me
sweet.
talking about it.
Yeah.
And I'll put in a good word with Lord Sugar.
We'll put your.
nice.
You like? Can we put like the banner on and put him like in the social?
I mean,
Yeah.
I've already got a dragon that's tentative, so that's me.
Remember Wolf from Gladiators?
Oh,
I
I
don't
remember
know.
him. No, I remember him.
See, Latch looks like a very slim wolf.
With light on his face.
So
Yeah,
what,
I can't see. I can see you.
Latch, what's your one question and one question only?
Question from My question is this. Okay, my question is this. You two are from a generation that I don't understand. But what I want to know is, how important do you think it is starting a business today to have this social media presence, the Twitter, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, etc., etc.?
Shall I go?
You go first.
Yeah. Oh, that makes a change. Ladies first.
Modern man. aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm a gentleman.
Plot twist.
Well raised.
I think it's really important, especially if you're starting a business now. There's never been a better time to start a business, in my opinion. There's all these tools available for you, so you can utilize a lot more than you could back in the day. Like Netflix, they had to code their own websites. Now you've got Shopify, Squarespace, and to be able to kind of effectively and cheaply market your business. I don't know where I'm looking. I'm like going cross-eyed because I don't know where he is. I think you have to just grab it and say yes to all these different platforms. Instagram's fab, but it's not for everyone. Facebook, it's good for building a brand, which is key now, and for building a community. I think it's better to build fans than it is customers, and you can do that through social media. So I do think you'd be a bit silly to start a business and not try it at least. But I am trying to be a bit more intentional personally with my time spent on social media because there's a lot of noise. So I'm trying to streamline it. So I don't know if I answered the question, but I think I did a better job than you will.
I'm going to say if you're starting a business and you're looking at social media and you're looking at how you can use it as part of your strategy, do not do it as a checklist tick box exercise. Only do it if you're going to add value to the customers, the consumers, the person who's going to be your end user. Because otherwise you're just doing it for the sake of it and no one will engage with it and no one will feel it. You need to really add value to their lives, really give them something, and just stop selling. If it's organic, stop selling to them because they're aware of that CAC now. They're used to it. They've grown up on it. They know when you're faking it. Just be genuine, transparent, and add value to their lives, and real fans will gather. As you found, they'll associate and the behaviors in themselves and the core values and beliefs with your brand and your core values and your beliefs, and they'll become real customers. They'll become real promoters of your business
advocates
as well.
of your business.
Of course. So don't bullshit customers. Be transparent, be open, be honest, and add value to their lives.
But there is so much bullshit on social media, isn't there?
Exactly.
From a lot of these brands.
That's why you have to cut through it.
Yeah.
It's not the way. It's because they're doing it as tick box. Like, okay, this week we need to do a post every single day, and it's all
it's
crap.
World Mental Health Day,
Yeah.
so let's just put out something.
But I
on
will
that. It's
admit
mad, isn't
to
it?
being-
It's like reactive marketing.
It's reached saturation, and people are so open,
Yeah.
aware of it now.
I was about to confess, but I'm not sure if
Go
I
on.
am
I bet
anymore.
she does it.
No, but I will admit in the past when I came off The Apprentice, I was kind of just posting the good things and I wasn't being completely honest and transparent on social media. And now I've kind of identified that, and I would say that I'm a lot more honest. Would you say?
Well, I look at your social and I look at you're not just putting across here's buy nut milk.
Yeah.
You do a lot of those posts, but I mean, like, in terms of putting across your business values and how a customer will see what you're doing, feel the language, feel the vibe, associate themselves with the brand, and therefore will go out and buy it because they want to be a part of that. It's bringing them into your business in that way. It's not about just like buy my shit. You don't do that either. You very much use a sassy language. You use certain colours. You're always messing around. Even the photo shoot I was a part of, I felt like an absolute ape when I left. But that's the fun element. And again, people
Didn't you
wanna
wax?
bring that to life.
Did you not wax? No, back wax.
Why would I back wax?
felt like an 8, mate. Get it sorted.
I was
I
like,
bet
how
you
did
have a
you
really
know
hairy back,
I did my
actually.
bikini line just in case.
No, he
You've got a
didn't.
nut milk bikini.
E-clippers.
She wants
Guaranteed. You manscape
She
every
rang me-
Thursday night
she rang me,
for the
Sha,
weekend.
I've got a nut milk bikini. I want to get you in it.
You said to me you wanted to wear it. You literally
I was
said
all
that.
for it as well. Like,
We are
like
cutting
a
that
nut
here.
Yeah.
We're done.
We're done. That's a wrap.